Welcome to Let's Talk Sports here on WYLN. I'm your host, Marty Burns. Joining me this week is head coach of the Wilkes-Barre area Lady Wolfpack basketball team, Mary Mushock-Namey. We're going to talk to Coach Mushock-Namey about the first 2 years of Lady Wolfpack basketball right after this.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander Greater Hazleton. We're talking about TNT. We're talking about trucks and trade-ins. If you got a truck that you don't want or you're looking for a truck, we've got a huge selection of pre-owned trucks right now. We have got Rubicons. We have got GMCs, Ford Flexes. We have got a Ram Dually Diesel. If you're in the market for a truck or you want to get rid of your truck, you'll never get more ever than it's worth right now. So come on down to 508 Susquehanna Boulevard in Hazleton and see why we'll give you more for the trade that those other guys won't.
What's on TV? Plenty. WYLN TV 35, the best in local programming.
You know, Ashley, the Poconos, we do dining right.
Well, the cuisine is top-notch.
Right, and there's takeout for every taste. This has been a tough year, and we've been eating in day and out.
I forgot to light the stove.
Hey, no problem. I'll take care of it. You know, Ashley, I think we'll be going out tonight.
Leave the cooking to us. Find great dining options at PoconoMountains.com.
Follow us on our weekly journeys through the backstories of those paving NEPA toward a better future.
Each night we'll dig a little deeper into the lives and goals of our local leaders. So stay tuned for the end of our news as we learn more of those leading the way.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports here on WYLN. I'm your host, Marty Burns, and joined this week by Wilkes-Barre area head girls basketball coach, Mary Mushock-Namey. And Coach, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, Wilkes-Barre area is a very fascinating story to me, even before we get to the pandemic. Whether we talk to Coach Cynthia at a football game or yourself or Coach Toole at a basketball game, because Wilkes-Barre area hasn't been completely formed yet as a school, so the student athletes are still, whether they're at GAR, Myers, Coughlin, some of the things that you had to go through in that opening season, making sure the kids made practice because you had to have them bust to wherever your particular sport was holding practice, and just a lot of the other different things in combining kids from 3 different schools and trying to mesh them into one.
Right. I think some of the biggest things were just trying to get the girls to play together. I mean, they kind of knew each other. I mean, GR and Myers already had that rivalry, so they played. They knew, you know, what kind of team and what kind of girls they were coming into. However, when you put them all on the court at the same time, it's 3 totally different basketball systems trying to form into a brand new one. So the biggest thing, I think, the biggest challenge was just getting them to have team chemistry, learn how each other plays, connect with each other, and just a lot of like team bonding and communication. The busing was definitely another issue. I mean, we had Coughlin as our home gym in the first season, and we had to pick the girls up from 4 different schools, actually. It was Solomon, Mackin, and then to GAR and Myers, and then turn around. So it was difficult. Sometimes buses were late, sometimes they didn't show up. So it was a struggle in the beginning, but after, you know, a couple weeks, we really got into the flow of things, and the girls caught on, and I think it worked out pretty well. And
it sort of reminds me of the movie Miracle when Coach Brooks was trying to get his team together, and he'd say, where are you guys from? And they'd say University of Minnesota and Boston College. They sort of run into that where, hey, I'm GAR or I'm Myers, and you're trying to say, no, we're Wilkes-Barre area?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, some of them have just really, really deep roots when it comes to those high schools. I mean, their parents went there and their grandparents, so there's some of them are third generation, you know, going to those schools, J.R. Myers and Coughlin. So it was just rough knowing that even their parents weren't so happy about the idea at first, so they're coming in thinking, okay, am I supposed to say I'm GAR and this is how we do it, or, you know, are we supposed to just come in and say there's no GAR, no Myers, no Coughlin? I just basically told them, you know, we're Wilkes-Barre area, we're one, we're just gonna identify ourselves as Wolfpack. Let's try not to use those terms. I mean, they accidentally come up here and there, but overall the girls did fantastic with it. They really did. I mean, it was Wolfpack from day one, and I mean, still is today. It really is. I was a little bit surprised, but it turned out as a success.
And one of the other challenges that the other coaches I mentioned didn't have, you were expecting a baby girl.
Yes. So right at the start of the off season, I was pretty much expecting, and I think they kind of knew about it because they kept asking me questions, but I just, you know, wasn't comfortable yet. I mean, I wanted to get to know them. I wanted the focus to be on them, not myself. So then once we started regular season, November, December, they were completely cooperative and so like supporting and everything. And I just think that going through a season pregnant really just made it so much easier. I mean, it did. I didn't even notice sometimes. I just focused so much on them, and they took, you know, my mind off of it, and I think it was just a lot of fun doing it. I really didn't mind it at all. And as soon as the season ends, it was like perfect timing. 1 month later, my baby girl arrived, and she's 14 months today.
And do you have her dribbling yet?
Well, kind of, but not quite.
Let's talk about that season. You had a successful season. You got into the district playoffs. Didn't advance as far as you wanted to, but to put that group together and make a run into the districts, was that a springboard into year 2 for the Wolfpack?
Oh, for sure. I mean, even from day one, they just kept saying to me, Coach, we just want to make it to that arena. That's all we want to do is make it to that arena. So that was the goal we set, and we made it the highest one. So we just went day by day, game by game, step by step, and you know, that playoff game against Williams-Barre, it came right down to the buzzer. I mean, it came down to the wire. We had a chance to tie it in the end, and ever since that buzzer went off, they had a chip on their shoulder. So leading into that second season, that's all they had in the back of their mind was that is not going to happen again. I mean, I just feel that there wasn't one girl on that team that was going to let that happen ever again.
And one of the main challengers in the Wyoming Valley Conference is Hazleton area. And you went into Hazleton area. You ended up losing to the Lady Cougars by 10, but you had them at halftime. You had them in the lead, but then the Lady Cougars came out with a big third quarter. But the learning experience of your group together playing against that Hazleton area team, especially at Hazleton area where Coach Gavio's had so much success.
Yeah, I mean, he has just built such a solid program down there. He's been there for so long, won district title after district title, and the girls know about that. They really do. Even though we weren't in a 6A program at Myers, GR, and Coughlin, they knew all about Hazleton and the success that they had. So I think going in that first season, I'm not sure if we expected to be in those games, but they just came out to play. I mean, they just knew that they were the underdog, they were the brand new team, and they just had nothing to lose. So they came out and just gave it their all every single game, and we actually stayed in, I think, 99% of those games in that first year.
Now, I'm sure when the season ended at Berwick against Williams-Barre, you were thinking, okay, let's get into an off season where, hey, we can bring them together. We can do some different things during the summer, whether it be camp or leagues or that type of thing. Let's get them together, get them to play, and who knows what this season could bring. And then the pandemic hit. How did that affect you and your team?
I mean, you're absolutely right. That's the first thing you think. I mean, you think about that the night of the loss, like, all right, what do we do moving forward, you know? I talked with my assistant coaches. We had a plan set out, and I think within 3 weeks, everything was kind of shut down. So, I mean, in the beginning, you just think, like, how long is this going to go on for? Like, what is this virus, you know? And never in a million years did I think it would be as bad as it is now. And once June came, we still weren't able to get in there. And finally, July, we got in, but it was only on a limited number of players. I mean, we had to do the social distancing, we had to do the masks. So we really only got 1 month of an off season. So knowing that we had like the success we had this past season with only 1 month of an off season, all the credit in the world goes to those girls and the hard work they put in, you know, day in and day out, knowing I don't even know when the next time I'm going to play is.
Right. And I know talking with winter sports coaches, no matter boys, girls, whatever sport was, there was still uncertainty, especially leading into the fall, and they tried to play football. And a credit to all those teams. I think football was the big gauging point to see if we can get through football, I think we could get through winter sports. Was that sort of the feeling you got?
Yes, for sure. I mean, every week I just kept looking and seeing if there was any new updates from our athletic director and our administration, and it just seemed like the football team and even the other spring or fall sports, we had soccer, field hockey, they just kind of set the tone. I mean, they really followed the guidelines. Everything seemed to go smooth. I mean, a shutdown here or there or a game canceled, but knowing that they were able to complete a season, we were really getting our hopes, you know, like not up, but we were really praying and hoping that that was going to be us as well. Yeah.
And as things turned out, there was a 2021 basketball season. We're going to go over that season with Coach Mushock-Namey as Let's Talk Sports continues right after this.
Only one company has been a lifetime committed to your safety. Subaru. At Fairway Subaru in Hazleton, we're committed to you and providing the safest vehicles on the road for you and your family. Which is why Subarus come with available EyeSight driver assist technology, which can reduce the rate of rear-end crashes by up to 85%. And with lane assist and sway warning, your family will know why Subaru is a leading choice among parents and teen drivers. Discover more about Subaru and all there is to love about it at Fairway Subaru in Hazleton. The right car, the right price, the right dealer.
It's time to get out. Enjoy the weather. Take that vacation. You need it. It's all right here in the Pocono Mountains. Enjoy adventures. Be wet and wild. Play the slots. Take a relaxing hike.
Don't miss Explore the Pocono Mountains 350. It's the green flag for 2021. Get your tickets at PoconoRaceway.com.
Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the midday WYLN News update, posted between noon and 2 p.m. Tomorrow's care starts today with Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton, your ER partner.
WYLN TV 35 presents the Hazleton Area High School Class of 2021 graduation, Tuesday, June 15th at 6 p.m. live on WYLN TV 35. We're your local network.
8 years ago, my daughter called to say she was expecting our first grandchild. But I never actually heard her say that. And the first time my granddaughter called me Papa, I didn't hear that one either. Can you imagine? Oh, I know I lost some of my hearing, but I was embarrassed, too stubborn to admit that. For Father's Day a few years ago, Gina and Ryan bought me a nano hearing aid. And my precious Ryan, I love hearing her call me Papa. I love hearing everything again.
What have you not heard by not wearing a hearing aid? You're going to have many more special moments in your life. Don't miss hearing a single one of them. Call Nano. Order your full pair of hearing aids for only $297.
1-800-265-5107.
Make today the day you finally start hearing better again with Nano hearing aids.
1-800-265-5107. 1-800-265-5107.
From the bottom of our hearts, the WYLN TV 35 family would like to say thank you to all essential workers for your service to our community and for keeping us safe.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports here on WYLN. I'm your host, Marty Burns. joined once again by Wilkes-Barre area head girls basketball coach Mary Mushock-Namey. And Coach, we left off with the transition, not knowing if you were going to have a winter season. The word came down that you were going to have, even if it was condensed, a winter sports season. The feelings around you and your team.
I mean, you just didn't know what day was going to be your last. So no matter if it was practice or a game, and you went in just giving it your all, not knowing, okay, is this the last time I'm going to get to play? Is this the last time I'll see my teammates? Like, we were just not sure. So it kind of gave us a little bit of, like, you know, an edge, as in, like, all right, we got to go out there and do everything, because if this is the last game, we got to get a win. So, I mean, it just really helped the girls, like, bond and come together. Because there was no in-person schooling and we were all virtual, it made it, I think, a little bit more special when we came to practice, because they're used to seeing each other in school and, you know, talking and doing things. But now the only time they saw each other was those 2 hours on that court, whether it was a game or practice. And, I mean, the feelings were just all over the place. I mean, they really were. Some days it was, you know, like sadness, like, okay, we just played a team that had COVID and now, you know, we're quarantined. Some days it was just excitement, like, yes, we got to play another game. So I'm just so proud of the girls and, you know, the whole effort and the way that they handled themselves throughout the entire pandemic, and the season was just phenomenal.
And I would think, sort of piggybacking on what you said, the opportunity just to get out of the house, for even if it was a couple hours, had to be a thrill to those kids.
I mean, it is. I can't imagine being a teenager and having to sit in the house all day long and all night long for months. So I think when they actually heard there was a season and we were able to start, they couldn't be any happier. I mean, get me out of this house, you know. I mean, there's only so much family you could take. I mean, I know family's everything and it's so important, but it's just good to get out and socialize with, you know, your friends and teammates and coaches and things like that.
Now we're going to focus on a couple of games that we had of yours on WYLN and talk about a couple of the teams that were at the top of the Wyoming Valley Conference. And we'll start with eventual conference champions in Berwick. Didn't have the success you wanted, but we did the game down in Berwick, and I thought, and I know Coach DeMelfi, who called the game with me, very impressed with Shelby Ardo Boyko. She always seemed to be in the right place, right time, making plays, hard worker, and by the time we saw you again in Hazleton, she had cracked the starting lineup.
Yeah. So Shelby actually is only entering her 3rd season ever playing the sport of basketball. So when I inherited her freshman year, we moved her up. That was only her 2nd year. So everything that she's kind of been doing for the past 2 years is all based on instinctive and athletic ability. I mean, she's just so smart on that court, as in, like, instinctively knowing where to go. And as the season went on, you can kind of tell she was definitely learning and gaining that basketball IQ to make herself a better player. So the natural ability and talent was there, but now that she's learning, like, how to read a defense, how to read an offense, and things like that, it's really helping her become, you know, one of our go-to players. I can't be any prouder of her for the way that she's overcome everything and how she stepped up throughout that entire season. I mean, they had a great game plan. Everyone started to double and triple Gloria, and Shelby, you know, took advantage of that opportunity, and I think she's one of the main reasons we got as far as we did.
And you mentioned Gloria Ajayi, Player of the Year in the conference, and I thought getting an opportunity to play against a seasoned player like Katie Starr has only going to pay dividends for her as she enters her senior campaign. I mean, she went nose to nose, point for point, 18 and 18 between the two in that game in Berwick.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are 2 of the best centers in the league right there. Gloria, I kind of think she looks up to her in a sense. I mean, Katie Starr is just an absolute leader. She's strong, she's aggressive, she leads her team vocally and, you know, by her actions and play on the court. And Gloria knew that she was going to be a strong physical player, and she had to try to match that up. That's probably the first game I've ever seen Gloria be physical in that post.
And then we got the opportunity to see you. We talked about Hazleton area in the last segment. You went into Hazleton area high school, and you came away with the big victory, 62-58. Gloria had 29 on the night, but Shelby was the big second scorer with 16. The first thing I want to talk about, because I've raved about it, I can't remember seeing anybody on the high school level pull off a move that Gloria did in the post little dream shake, and it's just one of those, if you're playing defense, you just have to tip your hat.
Yeah. I've seen Gloria do some of those things at practice, but not quite in a game yet. I think she just needed to gain a little bit more confidence, but she knew how big this game actually was, and I think she was just in such a groove. She actually sprained her ankle 2 minutes in, and her momentum just said, like, no, my adrenaline's rushing, I'm not coming out of this game. So she fought through it, and she just did things in that game that I think I've never seen her do in a game before. So once again, with confidence, I think her knowing, like, okay, this is my kind of game. They don't have any size to match with me. I'm just going to try to dominate the best I can.
And one of the things, and we say it so often with the Joe Gavio team, you know what's coming. He's coming with full court pressure.
Yeah.
And I thought you set the tone for the first of 3 meetings. You guys really handled that full court pressure well. And with that full court pressure, the thought being, yes, you want to turn the ball over, but get you running up and down that maybe Gloria gets lost in the game, which did not happen. You guys broke the pressure and constantly got Gloria easy looks.
Yeah. Well, we have 2 senior guards, or we had this year, and they were completely aware of that press from last year. So, I mean, we went over in practice, and we just knew if we can get those to the ball to break that press and Gloria run down the court, she knew what her role was that day. I mean, secondary break, fast break, and I think that's what kind of game it was. It was fast moving, it was high paced, high scoring, and that's the game we wanted, and I'm sure Joe Gavio did as well. But we knew that if we broke that press with those 2 guards and Gloria flies down the court, it was going to be, our type of game.
Now, you ended up getting Hazleton area in the last week of the season at home, and then that led to the district championship. And you talked about, it might have been one of the first comments that we talked about your team. They wanted to get to the arena.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to the arena. Leading up to that game, talk about the excitement of your team.
I can't even explain the excitement that was going on. That Williamsport game, to get into the arena was intense. I mean, and we almost didn't make it, but that moment that buzzer went off, they went ecstatic. I mean, they went nuts. And every practice from then on out, I have never seen them so focused in my entire life and just ready to roll. And not only then, I knew that the goal wasn't just to make it to the arena, I knew that they wanted to win that game. I mean, they wanted to be district champions no matter what. So, I mean, it was just exciting, enthusiasm, really.
And on your windbreaker, we're probably giving it away, but yes, they were district champions. We'll talk about that game as Let's Talk Sports continues right after this.
Hey guys, it's Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton. I don't know where you're going to find a nice, good quality pre-owned truck. The word on the street is you can't find them anywhere. I'm sure they're out there somewhere. Did I tell you we're at Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton? And I'm sure if you look hard enough for a used truck and go to a nice dealership that has inventory, you'll be able to find a pretty good selection. But the word on the street is you can't find any. So why don't you come here to Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton and find out where we take the deals and have the trucks the other guys don't.
Did you know that WYLN News provides news updates every weekday afternoon at 1, 3, and 5 here on TV and on social media? Did you also know you can watch WYLN News on the go by visiting our website or YouTube page?
Now more than ever,
WYLN is your local news leader.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Go hog wild for Iron Pigs Baseball. WYLN is televising the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs live. America's favorite pastime on your local network, WYLN TV 35. See the Stars of Tomorrow at Coca-Cola Park. Don't miss any of the games here on WYLN TV 35. Visit WYLNTV.com for a complete Iron Pigs schedule. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs on WYLN, your home for live sports.
Welcome back to the conclusion of Let's Talk Sports. Our guest this week is Mary Mushock-Namey, head girls basketball coach at Wilkes-Barre Area High School. And Coach, we led into it. You're going to the arena for a district championship. You get the championship. And I thought right from the start, the key is stopping Hazleton area defensively, because then they can't get into that full court pressure. Now you had success breaking that pressure again, but I thought the game was won on the defensive end because you just didn't allow Hazleton area to get into anything.
Yeah. Well, rumor has it that it's kind of hard to shoot in the arena due to some depth perception. So we kind of switched it up, but we stayed in the zone. So we went 2-3-1-3-1, 2-3-1-3-1, and we were just not going to let them in that paint to get the easy buckets. So we kind of forced them to shoot from the outside. I mean, not wide open, of course, contested shots, but I think our girls flew around and we really, did the game plan exactly how we wanted it defensively. You're absolutely right, though. I think our defense led into our offense, yeah.
And I think there were times, especially late, where Hazleton area was maybe trying to crash the boards, get something going offensively. It led to a lot of breakouts that your girls capitalized on.
Yeah, and that's one thing we noticed. They love to crash the boards, all 5 of them. So we knew if we can leak one out and seal those rebounds, it was going to be a long pass for that transition fast break layup.
And we talked about the success way back when at Hazleton Area High School. Did your girls build off of that success? Because they seemed unfazed. And I know if you see the press enough, you get used to it, but they just seemed unfazed by that pressure from Hazleton area, even if Coach Gavio mixed it up a little bit.
Yeah. I think the mindset of our girls are, if we beat a team once at least, we know we could beat them again. So if we lost either one of those games, I think it's a different game and a different mindset going into it. But knowing we had already beat them twice, they knew. I mean, all the pressure's more on them now. So yes, they are the back-to-back district champions, but we knew we had them twice, and I think we had all the momentum kind of going into it, knowing that we had their hands.
And way back at the start of the show, we had talked about when you first got this group together. When you first got that group together, and if I would have came to you and said, at the end of year 2, you'd win a district championship by beating Hazleton for the 3rd time, would you have realistically thought that possible before year 1 even started?
I don't want to say I wasn't confident in it. If anyone told me more of the beating Hazleton 3 times, I would say, oh, that's a stretch. District championship, though, I knew we had like a really experienced team. And I know that we just had come together, but we had a lot of juniors and seniors that first year. So then this year we had a lot more seniors again with that experience. So I was confident that we would make it. I just didn't realize the game would go so much in our favor the way it did.
And you mentioned you're losing senior guards due to graduation, but you are getting some key players back.
Yeah.
2021-22, Lady Wolfpack basketball, defending district champions. What do you foresee as the opportunity for your team to even grow more?
Well, we're actually already in the gym right now working on off-season, and the girls are ecstatic. I mean, we finally have an off-season where we're going to go to team camp, we're going to do some summer league games, and they're in that gym wanting it already. So they know the target is going to be on their back, but I think this group of girls is totally ready for that. So we do have Shelby and Gloria back. We do have a couple younger girls who are going to step in for the post roles as well. However, I think our guard play this year, basketball talent-wise, is going to be pretty good. I mean, we have one starter back and the first 2 girls off the bench, so I'm not worried at all about our guard play, even though we lost 2.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a successful season. Good luck in the year ahead, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
For Coach Mushock-Namey, I'm Marty Burns saying so long. Join us next week for another episode of Let's Talk Sports.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.